Welcome to CMLL Monthly Number 2, April 2024. The inaugural edition of this year was last month and coincided with CMLL's big annual pay-per-view, homage to two legends. That video went a little longer than I was hoping, so going to try to be a little more concise this time. Like last month, we are going to start by going over all of the cards from the month of April of 2024. Early in April, it was announced that both Arena Coliseo Guadalajara on Tuesday, which used to stream and be free on their own YouTube channel, will continue to be free but is now hosted on the main CMLL YouTube. With this change, we will be including these cards and Arena Coliseo, the Arena Coliseo in Mexico City. Saturday shows would be streamed for paid members as well. With this, I'm going to include these cards. We are going to go week to week with all the cards that aren't Arena Mexico Friday and then that Friday. So Saturday, Arena Coliseo being the start of the week, and then going into more detail for each Friday. The first shows we're going to cover are the Tuesdays in Arena Coliseo Guadalajara and Arena Mexico, both of which happen on April 2nd. A singles match on each, Star Jr. in Arena Mexico, following up the trios match the week before, and Villano 3 Jr. vs. Ruggido, which was a lightning match. Both were good. Arena Mexico had trios matches that include Akuma, Dulce Gardenia, Virus, and Disturbio, who were all in the Incredible Pairs Tag Tournament last month. This sees Akuma and Dulce Gardenia alongside Virus and Disturbio throwing down challenges, and the next night on CMLL's talk show Informa, they set the hair match for the end of the month, which was booked as a four-way between all four men. Friday, April 5th, saw Bryan Danielson versus Blue Panther in a submission-only match, something that was set up at the last Friday show after Team CMLL beat Team AEW in a 4-on-4 match. It also included the Mexican National Champions Torneo Cibernetico elimination match. The winner of this 10-way elimination match went on to the Universal Championship Finals at the end of the month to battle for the Universal Championship, an annual Champions Tournament belt that is awarded to the winner of that tournament every year. Week 2 of April kicked off with Arena Coliseo Mexico City celebrating its 81st anniversary on April 6th. CMLL often does anniversary shows for their buildings, and this being streamed was a good way to celebrate that, and the best way to celebrate would be crowning the Villano brothers with the Arena Coliseo tag titles. Hopefully this third tag titles behind the CMLL World Tag titles and the Mexican National Tag titles can get some fanfare with Los Villanos carrying them. A big tag team main event on this show too, and a lightning match between two of the best young prospects from the school tournament that happened earlier this year. The Tuesday shows this week on April 9th had some heat building a tag match for the upcoming hair four-way match that had all four men in this tag match. Arena Mexico had a lightning match between two great talents in Stuka Jr. and Titan. Micro, Gemelo, Diablo 1 and 2 continue their winning streak, and Futuro took a nasty fall that put him on the shelf for a week or two. Friday, April 12th Arena Mexico show sees Block 2 of the Universal Championships, another 10-man elimination match, this one having the better overall field with the CMLL World Champions. Other main match to catch from this night is, of course, Villano Brothers and Stuka Jr. versus the Panther Bros. They had a great match last year. Some people may recall it was on my top 10 for 2023, and them running it back was another great match on this, again, Friday, April 12th Arena Mexico show. Week 3 starts off with another Arena Coliseo show on Saturday, April 13th. A real great lightning match between Hechicero and Valiente. Rey Bucanero showed up with stripes on his gear, and shortly after, it was reported that he may be forming a faction with Villano and his son Villano Jr. That's good news for all three, as they've been pretty directionless lately. Rey Bucanero helps run some indie shows, and his appearance in CMLL have been spotty over the last few years due to this. Neon vs. Ruggido is a standout from April 16th Tuesday shows, but Panthers vs. Villanos was fun mid-card trio, as pretty much any Panthers Bro match is. Hera and Olympia teaming is great too, not sure why they lost here versus the less established tag team. The April 19th Friday had a match of the year contender with the three-way Universal Championship block. This was the last one of the month and decided who'd go on to the next week's finals versus Titan and Magnus, who won their respective blocks. The whole card was fun, and Legendario continues his lightning match run of the month, having a lightning match after lightning match after lightning match week after week. They're really testing him for a more proper push, and he continues to get big cheers whenever they feature him in one of these singles matches. Week 4, April 20th, starts with one of the weaker cards of the month and the weakest Coliseo since they started to stream it at the beginning of this month, or towards like that, a week or two into the month when they first did the anniversary show. That was the first Arena Coliseo Mexico City that they streamed live on YouTube. April 23rd, Tuesday shows have Guadalajara being the bigger show to catch, which tends to be rare. They had 2 Occidente title matches. Both were women or luchadora titles. These Occidente titles are sort of developmental titles, with these both changing hands on this show, and the Villanos getting the male tag titles for the Arena Coliseo. This may spell more title matches in Guadalajara, and these belts being showcased more often. All of these changes were just on the first defense of each of the championships, and seems to indicate CMLL perhaps doing more with them moving forward, or we could just be reading into nothing. Valiente had a lightning match. That's always worth checking out, but he had a better one earlier this month versus Hechicero. April 26th was a good card, but hampered by CMLL having streaming issues for the first hour when they were live streaming this back on the 26th of April. That soured the mood for many people watching live. That being said, the top of the card was strong, even if the Universal Finals didn't live up to the semi-final 3-way the week before. The hair match was fun, and the match of the night had to be Angel de Oro versus Templario, a rivalry that it feels like will continue past this match and past this month. Week 5, April 27th, the Arena Coliseo Mexico City show again had a pretty standard CMLL card without much of note on it. Then the last shows of the week or month were the April 30th Tuesday shows. The Guadalajara main event was Panther family versus the Soberanos, which was fun. Panther bros tend to populate the mid card, and seeing them tie it up and contend with Soberano Jr., who's one of the hottest acts right now, was quite a treat. The Arena Mexico show, though, is a much bigger recommendation, though. It was Children's Day, and CMLL did a big Children's Day show. That included Kemalito making his wrestling debut. So far, he had only been a manager or a sidekick for trios and tag matches. Titan vs. Villano 3 Junior Lightning match. Hera and Olympia challenge for the Mexican National Women's Tag titles after their match, which will likely be on the next Tuesday show. I love the chibi anime-ish poster that they used for this, and seeing all the kids in the audience is really a nice change of pace, and it was fun to see them all enjoying the show. Those were the shows of last month, so without further ado, we'll get straight to the top 10 matches of April 2024. At number 10, we have that aforementioned Kemalito debut, where he teamed with Chamuel and Micro Sagrado versus Micro Gemelo Diablo 1 and 2 and Tengu. Kemalito debuted here and put on a show for all the children who showed up for the Children's Day show at the very end of the month. Hard to think of a better way to debut the Little Devil Monkey as an in-ring competitor, and hopefully his arrival will spell more excitement for the Micros division overall, which hasn't been very hot since the departure of Micro Man a couple years back. Number 9 is Persephone, Stephanie Vaquer, and Zeuxis versus Lluvia, Marcela, and Tabata. I didn't want to leave out the Luchadora division. This is their only showing on this month's top 10. Zeuxis and Vaquer are, in my opinion, the best women's tag team in CMLL, and then with Persephone fits like a glove. I could see them becoming a named trio, and this was a good test for that. Hopefully we'll see her team with that tag team more often. Number 8, we have Hijo de Stuka Jr., Hijo Villano 3, and Villano 3 Jr. versus Blue Panther Jr., Dark Panther, and El Hijo de Blue Panther. Villano stock continues to rise, and this is a rematch of one of the best trios matches of last year, and was the best trios match of the month for my money. Number 7, Hechicero versus Valiente, lightning match. Baller's gonna ball, Hooper's gonna hoop. 2 of the best guys on the roster. Give them 10 minutes and they'll make it count, and they made it count on that night. Number 6, Akuma and Espanto Jr. going in as champions versus Villano 3 brothers for the Coliseo tag titles. Akuma has been on a roll lately, as have Villano bros. As mentioned earlier in this top 10, they walk away with the gold here, but Akuma gets his hype back with his hair match win at the end of the month, where he shaved Dolce Gardenia. Number 5, Magnus, Titan, and Mascara Dorada for the CMLL Universal Championship Finals. The finals to the Universal Championship Tournament, just like with the year prior, this final wasn't able to live up to the hype of the 3-way semifinal the week before. The big issue being Magnus not being as legit or as top of the card as Titan and Mascara Dorada. That being said, still a very fun match, overshadowed by the singles match just before on this same card. Speaking of, number 4, Angel D'Oro versus Templario. Two Rotos clash, two of the best guys on the roster. Everyone is a fan of these two, and this match is a great showcase as to why. Number 3, the 10-man CMLL World Championship block of the Universal Tournament. It was a 10-man elimination match, and it was stacked with very little fat, and even the fat that was there was only fat because it had already won this tournament, and they were very unlikely to make it to the finals as someone who could win a second or third time, depending on if we got Terrible or Dragon Rojo Jr. When it got down to it, anyone could win this match, though, and that made it a very exciting fight. Number 2, Bryan Danielson versus Blue Panther in a submission match. Dreams come true, and this is a match that I legitimately never thought we would get. Even when it was just a week prior and they were in a 4-on-4 match on opposite sides, I thought that might be as close as we'd get. Then the match was made right after, and the following week, it was one of the longest weeks of my fandom, having to wait between them announcing this match the week prior and them actually putting on the match. Most months this would take the cake and be the best match of the month, but there was one match I liked better, and that one match that I liked better was mentioned earlier in this top 10. It is Atlantis Jr. versus Mistico versus Mascara Dorada for the NWA World Historic Champions Universal Championship semifinal, or the three-way semifinal between the three of them being NWA World Historic Champions. This semifinal round last year was in my best matches of 2023. This will likely be on the short list for my top 10 matches in CMLL of 2024. I would like the finals to be better than this match, but the last 2 years in a row, the NWA World Historic semifinal has been better than the overall final. I hope whatever 3 people are in next year's finals surpass this NWA 3-way, but this may have been another match of the year contender next year as well, and it might even be these same 3, given all 3 of these guys are pretty heavily invested in talents in CMLL. We could see all 3 of these guys hold the championships for another year and then be put in this 3-way semifinal for the tournament again. So that was the top 10. Our honorable mentions. We mentioned going over these cards. Legendario had a series of lightning matches, all of which were fun. None of them were Hechicero versus Valiente, though. So he was left off the list because I feel like that was the better lightning matchup, or the best lightning match of the month. He's getting good reactions, though, and has a future, one that seems to be coming sooner rather than later. Don't be surprised to see him with gold or a tournament win before the end of 2024. The women's title matches on the April 22nd Guadalajara show. Again, those are both more sort of second string and really third string belts, or developmental titles, but they were still title matches and they were still fun. Star Jr. versus Rocky Romero on the first Tuesday Arena Mexico show of the month. That was also a good singles match. It's nice to see Star Jr. get some opportunities, even if they're losing efforts versus Rocky Romero. That's no chump change. Rocky Romero's been really well pushed and used in CMLL over the last year or two. The 4-way hair match, I love Akuma, and I'm happy for him getting another scalp. With Dolce's hair, he has now shaved the whole of the Atrapasueños stable. It makes his next hair match that much more interesting. Neon and Rugido, or Neon vs. Rugido. That was a good singles match. Villanos and Panthers had great trios matches versus other teams, as well as Villano 3 Jr. versus Teton on the Children's Day show. Again, another good lightning match, but not Hechicero versus Valiente, which I think, again, was the best lightning match of the month. Next, we'll go over some upcoming shows. By the time you listen to this, the first stream of May has already happened. The May 3rd Arena Mexico Friday show. It's the Friday after a big tournament. Normally that means filler, but CMLL is bringing some interesting matchups. We have Los Depredadores versus Villanos and Stuka Jr., Los Guerreros Langoneros versus Los Infernals, and Zandokan versus Hechicero lightning match. That's quite the card. Having seen the show by this point, make sure to check out that lightning match. May 7th Tuesday shows. Guadalajara has more local talent throughout the show than normal. Kemalito is booked for his second match. The main event is Soberano joining his dad Euphoria and his dad's stablemate Verno from Los Infernals. He might show up wearing Los Infernals gear like he has in the past when teaming with them. The Arena Mexico show has a title match. Hera and Olympia challenging The Luchadora Mexican National Tag Champs, Skady and Kira, formerly known as Andromeda. She announced her name change to Kira last month. They won it from Las Chicas Indomitables just about 2 months ago. This is going to be their first defense, so I don't expect them to drop it here. Still should be a fun match regardless of the outcome. Panther Bros versus Los Barberos isn't for the CMLL Trios titles, but if Panther Bros can pull out an upset, you can bet they'll challenge for those titles the following week. And spoilers, that match has happened, and Los Panthers did beat Los Barberos and did challenge for the title on the following Tuesday, so we have that to look forward to. The tournament this month doesn't start until the 17th and will be La Copa Junior, and is more of a minor tournament with the gimmick being generational talent. It should generate some great matches, even if it's not the big deal that the last 2 monthly tournaments have been. The other large thing coming in the future isn't until June 21st, and that's Fantastica Mania Mexico, which, much like the version that CMLL has talents going over to New Japan Pro Wrestling, this will instead see New Japan Pro Wrestling talent coming to Arena Mexico. This happened last year, so this is going to be the second installment of the gimmick or the show name. Confirmed New Japan Pro Wrestling talents for the event are going to be Rocky Romero, Taiji Ishimori, Bad Dude Tito, Chi Cabrera, Zack Sabre Jr. Also announced on Informa, Mistico will wrestle Hiromu Takahashi, the Ticking Time Bomb, on the Fantastica Mania Mexico show. That is the big extra guy that they had been teasing that would be announced. He was announced on Informa, again on the 8th. And again, that show's not happening until June. In fact, not only is it not happening until June, but it's not happening until the 21st. So we're, a month and a half away from that, but they are already getting the card put together and teasing what is going to be really their big next major event, with, again, La Copa Junior being more of a B tournament. We're kind of in a lull month. That being said, we should still be seeing some good matches this month. It will be interesting to see who wins La Copa Junior, even if it's not something as big as Incredible Pairs or the Universal Championship that just happened last month. And with that, that is CMLL Monthly for April of 2024. We'll see about trying to get the one out for May, a little earlier than I got this one out this month. Had some things to do at the tail end of last month, early this month, which had kept me from recording this and, of course, putting it together in a video. If you do like these, like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. What was your favorite match of April of 2024 for CMLL? What do you think about the final compared to the semifinal three-way of that Universal Tournament? I think basically everybody agrees that the semifinal the week before the final was better than the final itself. That's disappointing. I do want these finals to be the biggest match of each tournament. So when you have it like this, where the semifinal outshines the final, it kind of makes the final not feel as big of a thing to recommend. That being said, I still do think it was in the top 10, even the top 5 of the month. So the final's not skippable or something that's not worth watching, but it just didn't live up to the semifinal because the semifinal had just 3 guys who anybody could win it, could be anyone's game, and then how that match actually finished out was incredible. Again, if you disagree that that's the best match of the month, what was your best match of the month? I do think a lot of people might say Bryan versus Blue Panther, and as soon as that match happened, I thought it was a lock for the match of the month, but then the tournament matches really did come to play ball and knocked it out of the park. I think really 4 out of 4 of those matches were fun. Not all 4 of them made it to the top 10, but 3 out of 4 ain't bad. That's all for CML Monthly this month. Come back next month and we'll discuss everything that happened in May of 2024.